Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours. Brother Blue. Pour live and direct. Alright. Peace, 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 peace. Yeah. We're gonna do a deep dive. We're gonna do a deep dive today into July the 4th. And, there's so many different directions that we can go when we're talking about July the 4th. It qualifies us to have a very expansive conversation on a lot of different topics. So we're going to get to it today. Let me get some smudging in, right? Because, I could already hear people's feelings being hurt. And shout out to y'all. But you're going to get this work today. You're going to get this work. And we're going to do it respectful, of course. You know what I'm saying? Our motto is collegiate and strategic. I want you to walk away with more information, feeling empowered. My aim is to never to beat up on anybody or to beat up on... All right, I'm lying. My aim is to beat up on the opposition in every way imaginable, right? My aim is to destroy the detractors. So, but we can still do it skillfully. Yeah, peacefully. So we're going to smudge a little bit. Clear the air. Yeah. Feel me? Then we're gonna get to it. We gotta cut heads off and all of that good stuff. But be neat, neat cuts, not the ugly ones. You know what I'm saying? The neat cuts, like one hit, drop the head off. Not hacking at the shit, making it all sloppy. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. All right. I'm gonna smudge. Got some smudging in. We're gonna spray, right? Get the aura spray in. Whew. We're gonna take some gold. Yeah. We're gonna take some gold. Oh, this one. This one is hitting. Yeah. Yeah. All right, now we ready. Whew. Peace to you and yours. Welcome back to another episode. All right. We were going to attempt our best to give you some insight, to expand your appreciation for today, the energy that this day represents. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do the best that we can. All right? I got that linen on today. We can start our conversation with this about the linen. I interviewed our brother Yaki Awaken. I've dialogue and vibe with him, but we haven't done anything substantial. We've been attempting to arrange a podcast with him for the last 3 weeks that he has been rescheduling for the past 3 weeks. So shout out to the brother. You feel me? Hopefully, he gets in alignment with the scheduling so we can make it happen. But we here for the brother. I support him wholeheartedly, and I cannot wait to have a full-scale dialogue with the God. All right? So, let's just get this one out. We're just going to get this out the way real quick. The linen, right? And we want to put an open call out to our people just to hip you to the latest information about these fabrics. Linen. Why is linen so important in the summer all year round? Because linen retains the highest vibrational signature of all of the the textiles, right? They did a study on the frequency of clothing, right? Because wardrobes, fashion is functional, right? Fashion is functional. So there's a whole science to fashion anything that you put on your vessel, you feel me, has a vibration. It has a frequency. We're going to be speaking about vibrations and frequencies a lot today, right? Because, I mean, what else is there to speak about? So the clothes that you put on your body, on your physical suit, on your spacesuit, has an adverse effect on your energy, your input and your output. It can muffle you, right? The wrong clothes can do what? It can stifle your energy, right? It can zap you. It could take all of the energy away from you or have you bottled up like you wrapped up in plastic. You feel me? Linen is the best conductor of energy when it comes to clothing to put on you. Real cotton. You know what I'm saying? Wool. But not wool and linen mixed together as a blend. They'll cancel one another out. So there's a whole science. Shout out to the brother Red Pill. He has the information on his page. I'm going to be reposting it shortly. But yeah, I just go with the flow. So my spirit likes linen and like silk and linen. You know what I'm saying? And any opportunities that I get to adorn myself in linen, I do that without even asking twice. Yeah, polyester and rayons is not real fabrics. They're not real textiles. Okay, hemp, is one of the, I was advocating for hemp. The reason I moved to Georgia was because of my advocating for hemp. I came to Georgia to start hemp farming, and I did not just want to do the hemp farming for the CBD reason. I wanted to do hemp farming for the hemp fiber, of which there's 2,500 industrial uses. My dreams to be a hemp farmer have not dissipated. They've only grown stronger. You know what I'm saying? I'm where I need to be. So here in the South, we really need to get in front of a hemp revolution because, hemp can supply all three basic needs. Food, clothing, and shelter can be supplied with hemp. You know what I'm saying? If we were an indigenous material, we would be hemp in nature. It's called God's miracle plant. You feel me? So linen, hemp, wool, right? That real cotton. These are the fabrics that we need to get in tune with, right? And understand the purpose and the properties of. So we're going to revisit that conversation and jump into that, real thick at another point in time. I want to jump into this one. So today is July 4th. It's understood to be Independence Day, right? So we think about the Declaration of Independence, right? And our people have wrestled with how to find their way in this conversation. Does it apply to them? What exactly is a citizen? While people are breaking themselves to become better citizens, some of our people are finding out the truth about citizenship altogether and denouncing it. You know what I'm saying? Changing their status, leveling up, doing the necessary information to find out where you're at, what's going on, who are you in the system, when did you get here, how did you get here. You have to know these coordinates in order to know where you exist at any time in time and space. Other than that, you're floating in space somewhere. You feel me? So we look at the quote-unquote Declaration of Independence, right? And for a long time, even for most of my life, even, I'm going to be, straightforward with you and admit, even the majority of my life, I swore that they founded the tenets of this country on Christian principles, right? And that allegedly this was a Christian country. This is what they have said, especially post 9/11 when they went to war in Iraq and started a religious war with Islam. And it was a continuation of the Crusades. These people said that they were rallying and riding as crusaders, meaning that they were saying that they belonged to Christendom. And with Christendom was the congealing, right, of European powers to create an umbrella organization underneath the banner of Christianity. Prior to that, these were warring tribes. Matter of fact, the anniversary of these wars actually fall on July 4th, right? This is a Roman holiday for when they were able to come together with the Gauls, which are the French, and the Germans, right? And then what happens is that they formulate what is considered to be Christian dome. So let's think about it. Christianity, but a dome that exists over Christianity where it concentrates a particular energy and power and purpose. And the energy and the power and the purpose that Christianity was crystallizing around at that time was to push back the Moors out of the Iberian Peninsula. The Iberian Peninsula is the part of Europe that consists of Spain and Portugal. Okay? So they were going through their Renaissance, Enlightenment, or the Dark Age. All of these things were leading up to them formulating Christendom. Prior to that, they were infighting. They were fighting one another as Visigoths and Goths, as tribes, clans. The shit that you look at and are entertained by when you look at Game of Thrones. That's how the European was giving it up. What he wasn't showing you, I don't know because I don't watch the whole program, is that he was getting ran down on by Islamic forces led by the Moors at the time, right? And he formulates Christendom. Christendom was first started by Constantine, right? Who at the time Constantinople was the head of Christianity. Constantine was an emperor, okay? He was an emperor at the time. He has an encounter on a road riding a donkey or an ass, just like the story of Paul, and he encounters an apparition, which is a spirit that came to him, and they showed him the sword or the cross, right? The story is interchangeable, and it says conquering this sign. And then he all of a sudden warms up to Christianity, because prior to that, there was a true separation of church and state, where the Roman empirical conquest empire state had not fused yet with church. They were still enemies. They were still agnostic towards them. They still had beef. They had not figured out a way to fuse their own interests, because Christianity was encroaching on national interests such as conquest and empire, right? And white people taking other people's shit. And this is before there were white people. Christendom is the incident that happens where they're able to create the brand called white, when they unify under the banner called Christendom in order to push out what was considered to be African Moors out of the Iberian Peninsula so they could take back Europe and get it back to the purity of what they intended it to be. Later on, they formed what's considered to be a caste or a class, and that's where the concept of white comes from. Prior to that, it didn't exist. They were clans and tribes that had beef with one another. The French or the Gauls were fighting the Visigoths, which were the Germans, right? They were fighting the Brits. Y'all niggas seen Lionheart, right? You know what happened. You feel me? They was rushing. They was running down on the Scots. And all of them were washing one another up. And this has been going on for time immemorial until they figured out, under the banner of Christendom, right, that they had to get together to preserve their legacy, or else they was going to get wiped out. Feel me? So they switched up and they banded together and they started pushing back the Moors. So with all that being said, we know 1492, right? Columbus set sail over here with Moorish guys to bring him to the land of paradise. With his journals, he said this is the land of milk and honey. It's Jerusalem, it's paradise. Or shout out to my brother, what's his name? Horace Butler, in his book, When Rocks Cry Out. Jerusalem, right? He, in his account, said all of these places existed over here in the Americas. Jerusalem existed in Peru. Whole nother story. We're not going to deviate and get into that. But nonetheless, there's countless accounts of Europeans that came over here that said that they knew exactly where they were at and what they were looking for. They knew that this was called the land of milk and honey. This was paradise. This was a place that was spoken often of in biblical texts, but very, it was inaccessible. This was like the place that we came, like how niggas go to Turk and Caicos and shit like that. St. Bart's, everybody can go. It was like that. You feel me? So we get over here, right? 1493, they issue the Doctrine of Discovery, which is the Inter Caetera, which the Pope Alexander the Sixth on May 4th gives France, or no, he gives Spain access to the Western world, and he gives Portugal access to the Eastern world, and he split them in half, and he said, "You take one half, and you take the other." You know, under the name of Christianity, under the name of Christ, you are to conquer, right? It's an empirical conquest in the same vein that Constantine formulates when he merges the Roman Empire with Catholicism, or Christianity for that matter, right? To create Christendom. It was a continuation of that conquest. This is how the West was won. So they come over here. You would swear that they would bring their Christianity with them. I always thought that they did, right? Until I was in Los Angeles in Leimert Park, and there was an elder there. And maybe somebody can help me, because I don't remember this elder's name, but he was a member of the NOI. He was an elder in his 80s. He used to sell the newspapers in front of Leimert Park on Sundays right next to the drummer circle, and he had the bean pies. Very upward esteemed elder in the community, and he used to give me articles all the time when I would see him and just tell me to read stuff. And one day he handed me an article, and he said, do you know anything about the deists? The deists. I was like, I don't know what a deist is, right? Admittingly, I did not know. Me coming from a place where we think that we know it all, I was like, I don't know what a deist is. He gave me the article. He said the founding fathers of this country were not Christians. They belonged to a religion called deism. Now, I'm deep diving into the Masonic history of this country. I'm deep diving into the occult esoteric history of this country. I'm deep diving into the indigenous aboriginal history of this country, but I had not come across this information yet. So what did I do? I deep dived into this information immediately once I came across it. And lo and behold, come to find out, the founding fathers of this country were not Christians, and they did not formulate or form this country on Christian principles at all. Not even Masonic ones. The tenets and the precepts and the principles that they formulated this country on were based on a religion called deism. And deism is close to what's called animism. And animism comes from indigenous cultures, in particular from the continent. And what is animism in a nutshell? Animism means that everything in nature is animated with life, and all is part and parcel to the Most High, the Creator, to God. That you can find God in all things. Animism says that you can find God in the dog. You can find God in the toad. You can find God in the squirrel. You can find God in the eagle. You can find God in the trees. You can find God in the leaves. That's animism, and that's deism. And that's what the founding fathers was on. You think that I'm freestyling? Well, I mean, you can see it right here. Many of our founding fathers, Jefferson, Franklin, Madison, and even Washington, practiced a faith called deism. The philosophical belief in human reason, right? Using reason, logic and reason, right? Left brain society. Patriarchal society deals with what? Logic and reason. Left brain. Okay? But let's get to it. Let's see what else they say about deism, because deism is deep, and you've been under deism from day one. Right? Should be no separation of church and state. America is the God's chosen country, and allowing space for other religions or no religion weakens the country and betrays what it stands for. I said that it was not historical. Now I'm going to explain why. So these are people who are Christian nationalists and Christian fundamentalists and Christian zealots who think that because they think that this was a Christian country founded, then these are the people who have had the largest, the evangelicals, right? They've been so boisterous with their bully pulpits saying what America is and what it isn't, all based on the lens in which they look through, thinking that this is a Christian country when it is not, and it was never intended to be. Right? This is a esoteric, occult, metaphysical country. This shit ain't got nothing to do, just like Christianity don't got nothing to do with Christianity. Christianity is a blind for esoteric magic on the back, just like Islam is, and just like Judaism. With Islam, it would be Sufis, and with Judaism, it would be Kabbalah, right? And they would say with Christianity, it's the Gnostics. I would just say, shit, it's the Roman Catholicism at the highest degree, of which, at the highest degree, they are purely occultists. They're purely occultists, nigga. They're astrologers. Hold on. Boy, oh boy. We're going to talk about it today. Just because. Feel me? I don't want to see nobody confused with the shit that's going on, because it's like, hold on. Where's my other receipts at? Well, I mean, we know they got the Lucifer instruments there. They got the Lucifer observatories. Yeah, I mean, we're all occult. Nigga, do you practice? Like, you could say that we all humans. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not all occultists. No. Right? We can, you know, again, because these definitions get such a tough rap. And we don't know what we're listening to. We don't know what we're looking at. We only know what other people have told us. You know what I'm saying? And it's just not true. When you do the research, none of it holds up to bluff. It all falls apart. Right? The occult is the hidden. Right? The occult means hidden. Right? But there's occult orders, there's occult priesthoods, there's occult cults, there's levels to this shit, man. Let me continue, please. These Christian deists, right? Right. Most of the founding fathers encountered this idea at university, right? So they're saying that they picked up on the idea of deism when they went to school, when they went to university. First, I'm going to recommend a book, right? The Faith of the Founding Fathers. How Holmes, like many others before him, examines the context of those individuals' public professions of faith, which many of them made and which are used as evidence that they intended their new nation to be specifically Christian one. The Founding Fathers can be divided into three categories, right? Traditional mainstream Protestants, okay? Pure deists, and the category most of them belong to, Christian deists, who were somewhere in the middle, right? So they're saying that, all right, there were Protestants, there were deists, and there was a mixture of both of them. I'm saying that's bullshit. They were deists, the majority of them. Feel me? The majority of them were straight up deists. Many of the founding fathers, Washington, Jefferson, Franklin, and Monroe, practiced a faith called deism, which is a philosophical belief in human reason as a reliable means of solving social and political problems. Deists believe in a supreme being who created the universe to operate solely by natural laws, and after creation is absent from the world. This belief in reason over dogma helped guide the founders towards a system of government, their respective faiths like Christianity, while purposely isolating both from encroaching on one another so as to not dilute the overall purpose and objectives of either. Okay? We all been taught wrong, my niggas. We all been taught wrong. You feel me? We all been taught wrong about how they approach this shit, how they put these documents together, and where they got the cloth from. Because this is not European in nature. Unless them niggas are saying that they're pagans out in the woods like the Druids fucking with the nature. And that's not how they give it up. So who were these people who were not into Christianity? They was only making public professions of faith, but when it mattered in the boardroom, they were utilizing principles taught to them by deism, speaking about man's logic and reason. and the ability of utilizing logic and reason, you know what I'm saying, to govern. This had never been done before. If the founders were dogmatic about anything, it was the belief that a person's faith should not be intruded upon by government and that religious doctrine should not be written into governance. James Madison, for instance, was vigorously opposed to religious intrusions into civil affairs. Right? So this can give you somewhat of a background idea, because people grapple with it. They be like, well, how can they do slavery and be Christians? They wasn't Christians, my nigga. They was utilizing Christianity, right? Just like they do now when them niggas get up at the award shows and be like, thank God, knowing damn well that they in service to Shaitan. Knowing damn well, and you know it too. Public professions of faith have nothing to do with what's in somebody's heart. I mean, come on. In his first term as president, Thomas Jefferson declared his firm belief in the separation of church and state in a letter to the Danbury, Connecticut Baptists. He said, believing with you that religion is a matter which lies solely between man and his God, that he owes account to none other for his faith or his worship, that the legislative powers of government reach actions only and not opinions, I contemplate with sovereign reverence the act of the whole American people, which declared that their legislator should make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. And what I explained to you is that how do they have a monument in the Illinois state legislative capital to Baphomet? And it's not the only one. And I'm not shitting on Baphomet. I'm just giving you an idea that these people openly allow other religious expressions to exist in this land. The same way that the Moors did in the Iberian Peninsula when they ruled for 700 years. It was a cosmopolitan setting, meaning that Christians could practice Christianity, Jews could practice Judaism, and Muslims was doing Islam, and they all was doing it coincidingly. And when I'm saying cosmopolitan, think about how a city like New York exists. That's cosmopolitan. Right? Everything has a freedom to exist and express itself. But you niggas want to tuck your traditional systems. You want to tuck your systems because you scared that you in a Christian country and these niggas might tag you as a terrorist and run down on you and send your bitch ass to Guantanamo or something like that. If you had the nerve to stand, right, on your square and express what your ancestors have intended you to do, in this amorphous fucking place that we call America, where you can be whatever the fuck you want to be here. This is on nobody but you. You've abandoned the post. You've abandoned your ancestors. Right? Believing somebody else's lie and being scared in proximity to the fucking shit that they be playing with. And that shit got you scared. Just say it. These Christian deists, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and many more viewed church attendance as a good way to learn morality, ethics, and good citizenship, and often spoke publicly about their belief in God and the value of the Bible, but not in the way the fundamentalist Christians of today would do so. Their form of deism and of Christianity is sometimes called the clockwork universe, and it works like this. God is the great clockmaker. He designed the universe and set it in motion so that it will work perfectly with all the attendant gears and springs propelling it along. And then he stepped back and is now just letting it run. From this point of view, God's greatest gift to us is our power of reason, and it is up to us to use it and solve our problems. Okay? Feel me? I fuck with deism at this point. Yeah, I like that shit. I understand it. It's a lot less confusing than you trying to figure out Christianity by saying, how are these niggas Christians and Thomas Jefferson owned slaves? He's rationalizing and reasoning that shit with his own belief system to make sense of it. That's why. And you're left holding the bag 300, 400 years later trying to make sense of this shit while you got Benjamins in your pocket and you got motherfucking Jeffersons in your pocket. Get them shits all the meeting. Let me put my Cash App up. Look, repatriate your dollars, okay? Because you can't figure this shit out and you feel all type of weird ways when it comes to July the 4th. You don't know what you should be celebrating or not. Repatriate your dollars to me, man. And we're gonna make it do what it do. You feel me? We're gonna open up a DS school to teach people, right, the real history of this motherfucking government so we can stop being so goddamn confused. And we can move around this bitch and operate like we got some authority because of our knowledge base. Like, niggas, send me to Harvard. Fuck them niggas. What you think they got going on there that we should be impressed with? They ain't teaching this. This is an article about how they duplicated, right, the alignment of, or the inaugural alignment of the independence of the island of the Philippines because of its geodetic location. They did it on July 4th as a Masonic ritual. So this whole article speaks about the Philippines and you know how they did that. And anybody that knows about the history of the Philippines, especially as it pertains to the narrative taking place now, which is Jekyll Island and the reset of financial systems and monetary systems, Philippines is where they got all of the gold at. The real gold, the real assets, the real resources. Moors, you got so much work to do when it comes to learning the history of Philippines and Hawaii. Right? Shout out to the damn, what's the Moor's name? Forget this brother's name. Let's go here. So, this country that was founded by Diaz, right, and Diaz and Masons, right, everybody but Christians, like all of these niggas belong to their own personal clubs. Christianity was the shit that they gave you on the surface. That's the food that they feed the slaves, right? But the deep shit is what you don't get. On the 4th of July, when the sun has reached the altitude of the tip of the obelisk at exactly 8 degrees and 36, the sun, the Capitol building, and the Jefferson Memorial will align within a precision of less than 1 degree if standing at the foot of the reflecting pool. So the way that Benjamin Banneker Bay laid the cornerstone to build what would end up being Washington, D.C., which is a 10 by 10 square mile box, right? Yeah, this is happening right now. This alignment. The reason that they built D.C. the way that they did is that it can be conjunct and in perfect alignment with the constellation of Sirius. So today, on July 4th, they can have the alignment, specific alignment, and receive the light. The light that they're receiving is considered to be the greater light. Not the lesser lights, but the greater lights. You feel me? And not only the light that comes from the sun or the sun behind the sun, which is Sirius, but 3 distinctive stars, which are red, white, and blue, right? Which are Spica, Regulus, and Antares, which stand for Scorpio, Virgo, and Leo. And these are reminiscent of the 4 beasts that you see in the Bible, -1. And I think the acronyms for that shit is SALT, Scorpio, Aquarius, Libra, Taurus, right? So all of this science is yours. All of this is about you and your ancestors. This is not about them. But you've been duped for far too long, so you can't even recognize yourself if you see yourself. Because you've been looking at other people way too long, thinking it is them. That ain't him. He don't got no handle on antiquated information and history as it comes to you fusing your arithmetic into architecture. That's not what he do, nigga. That's what you do. Your monuments are still standing tall after 3,500, 4,000 years and shit like that. Yours. I ask people all the time, how can the Commissions not be the original Masons? Nigga, look at their constructions. The evidence of your masonry hitting or missing is your architecture. That's the evidence of you mastering your mathematics. That's all. Architecture is a law's integers in real time manifested. Okay? That's how you master. That's how you demonstrate. That's how you flex. That's how you pop your shit. You're like, nigga, look at my monuments. No, castles turn churches. Not churches turn castles. Cathedrals turn castles back into churches. But this was all based on Moorish architecture. We built all of them churches and them castles in Europe. And this is a fact. You can Google that shit. Right? So the significance of this time period, Masonically, Kabbalistically, occult-wise, esoterically, is that the two poles, right? And yeah, look, I will have to have a whole side conversation with you flat earth niggas because you got to explain flat earth astrology to me. You got to explain flat earth astrology, but we could do that at another time. The shit that's popping is the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. The measurements of both of them is at 23.5 degrees. When you add up 23.5 together, right, you get 47. Hence the fact that the compass in the square is set at 47 degrees with the G in the center, and the G stands for geometry. The G can stand for a lot of different things, and I've heard all kind of different interpretations, whatever. In this case, it stands for geometry because it's based on measurement. What are you measuring? One pole to the next. And why is it important? Because our ancestors understood that the Tropic of Cancer or the poles of Cancer is where souls come in. That's where souls incarnate. This period, this time, today, is the celebration of the incarnation of souls. And the souls come from Sirius, nigga. And the souls go back to Sirius. When? During the season of Capricorn, where souls return back to Sirius, or they say it's a trajectory back to Pluto by way of the Milky Way. That's why they revere these times so much, where souls come in and where souls ascend. That's what the Cancer and the Capricorn, the CCs represent, the two C's. And we are in the season of Cancer. We are here. It's July 4th, niggers. Okay? This shit got like 100 different meanings. I do not have to tap in with Santos Bonacci. Right? I don't. I studied the brother decades ago. And then I studied the places that he studied from. I don't like none of them flat earth niggas. Like, let me put that on the record. The only person to get a pass right now is Dr. Valentine. I don't like their energy or their attitude. Those are some of the most disgruntled, angry motherfuckers on the planet or the plane that I've ever met. Their energy is off. I don't want to have, yeah, we good. We good. Yeah. Them niggas is confusing a lot of information. They're conflating. They're fucking shit up, right? When we over here attempting to teach. Them niggas got a lot of explaining to do. with the science. Because your occult shit, your esoteric, occult, hidden information has to match up with your esoteric. So while you are dismantling and restructuring systems, nigga, you got to explain certain things to me. Feel me? I don't concern myself with whether the earth is flat or round. I'm more concerned with what the fuck comes out of the ground. Right? We got to eat food. Food, clothing, and shelter. I'm totally into the shit that comes out of the ground. That's where my concern is at. Getting people back to grounding. Fuck a conversation about whether this shit is flat or round if you still standing 2 inches off of the planet every day that you come outside with them rubber soles on. Nigga, fuck that shit. That shit is in the way. Weird ass niggas. Alright, so Cancer and Capricorn through these gates, souls were supposed to descend to earth and reascend to heaven. One, Macrobius says, in his dream of Scipio, was styled the gate of men and the other the gate of gods. So during the season of Cancer, during a day like today, the observation is the gate of men. This is where souls come into the planet, new souls, right? Shout out to you babies. Let's do the count. This is July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, right? You goddamn Aries babies. Shout out to the Aries. I'm an Aries rising. My nephew's an Aries. That makes sense. The Aries becomes the head, right? So 9 months, if the soul ascends today, right? Let's say that you get impregnated today. You off the Casamigos living up your best hot girl summer. Right? And a nigga take you down in the pound town. Right? And all of his swimmers get activated because it's hot outside, right? And them niggas gonna be off the Henny and the Casamigo. Oh, the Douce, my bad. Because you niggas are special. So you gotta drink the liquor with the Cross of Lorraine. Do you know the Cross of Lorraine, the symbol on the Douce is the motherfucking symbol of the Crusaders? They got you niggas like that. That's how they got you niggas. That's how they got you that. They got you that good. They got you that good. They got you niggas that good. That you're drinking the liquor with the symbol on it for the motherfuckers who put your ass under their heel to this day. And you're loving it. And you're championing it. And you're like, yeah, we're going to put down the Henny. We're going to pick up the Cross of Lorraine. Somebody Google Cross of Lorraine. Matter of fact, you know, we're going to do this in real time. Just so you don't think that I'm bugging. I'm going to show you how they got you. And you know that they came out with the liquor and they started charging. It's a 44 resonator, what I'm trying to tell you. Jay-Z started out charging $44.99 for that alcohol out the gate. That was the first price. They ritualized that shit beautifully. Yeah, but through these gates, souls were supposed to descend to earth and reascend to heaven, right? Gates of the gods. Cancer was the former, right? Because souls descended by it to the earth, and Capricorn was the latter because by it they reascended to their seats of immortality and became gods. So this is the shit that I explained to you during the season of Capricorn, right? At the death of the sun, allegedly around the birth of Jesus, okay? What is being celebrated? The opening of the gates of the gods. You ascend into the tomb for 3 days, a la Jesus, just like Jesus did at his 33rd, right? Which is his enlightenment age. And you stay there for 3 days. 3 days really means 3 months or 3 seasons of the winter, which the acronyms are CAP, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, right? Just like the sun dies for 3 days. It's still from December 21st, and it starts reascending, right? And you are tethered to the sun by your relationship to it based on subatomic particles called muons and neutrinos. So what the sun actively goes through in the sky, you are internally going through the same thing in your body by way of your solar plexus that exists at the center of your being. But not only just by way of the solar plexus are you connected and tethered to the sun in the sky, but also through particles called muons. Okay? All those particles called muons. So any fluctuation, anything that's taking place on the sun is taking place in you. Hence the fact that the solar maximum is going off to the charts right now. Because allegedly, y'all is somebody out there is going off the charts too. Okay? So there's evidence that somebody got to be getting turned up. Somebody out there is getting turned up. Feel me? And maybe it's the babies, man. The babies is out here cooking. Right? Here you go. Look, it's called the Cross of Lorraine. It's the double cross. It's the sign of the Jesuits, matter of fact. That's what you drinking when you drinking Douce. Right? Drinking on the Jesuits. Okay? Cross of Lorraine, nigga. It is a crusader cross. It's a symbol of the Crusades. Right? By the French Mason Brotherhood. The same people that were responsible for getting your funky ass over here. Right? And denuding you of all of your history, convincing you that this is a Christian country. The French Masonic Brotherhood did that. Okay? And again, in order to get your identity, in order to get your... Because this shit right now, this is about brand identity. This is about the fact that our brand is in the trash can. You feel me? And there are usual suspects that are to be, that we need our redress from. You feel me? There's somebody running around here with your birthright identity. There's somebody running around here with your cosmic identity. There's somebody running around here with your license in their pocket. And there's motherfuckers running around here with $1 trillion of your bread in their banks. And it's time to get that shit back. That's what the spirit of independence is about. That's what today is about. Sirius is a planet that invokes and evokes rebellion, right? For revolution, for what? For liberation, for independence. On a spiritual level. On the highest degree and the highest level. It's days like this when I get to talk my shit. Right? And this is what the universe is calling for. The universe is like, yeah, give them that work. Give them that work on a day like today. What better day? Feel me? What better day? So, yeah, the concept is as above, so below, right? So we get into the Independence Day in 1776. 1776 used to 4 times 444 is 1776. We'll get back to that. Remind me, because I want to talk to you about Washington, D.C., or the district, the 10 by 10 square box, right, called Washington, D.C. I want to talk to you about the masonry that went into Washington, D.C., okay? So we got to revisit 1776. We got to also explain to you that the World Trade Center was 1,776 feet. But we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. Independence was established by Freemasons, notably George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and other astrologer Masons, right, who designed the national capital. The concept was as above, so below, right? They built the structure according to heavenly bodies and star maps, right? Positioning the heliacal rising of star Sirius at a certain time of year. Sirius, known as Sophis amongst the Egyptians, Al-Shahira, as indicated in the Quran, Surya in Sanskrit, Lang, or heavenly wolf of the Chinese purple star group, is the brightest star in the sky, 20 times brighter than our present sun, and is located in the constellation of Canis Major. Right? Canis Major is the larger of two dogs that follow Orion, the hunter, at exact alignment on the belt of his 3 stars. Faces the 5 stars of Taurus, Hyades, the bull, and the 7 stars of the Pleiades. Sirius is more visible, right? So there goes your 3, 5, 7 in Masonry right there. Look, nigga, I told you we gonna tell some secrets today. Okay? There goes your 3, 5, 7 in Masonry right there. So the 3 stars of Sirius, okay? The 5 stars of Hades or Taurus, and the 7 stars of Pleiades. Okay? And Sirius stands for Canis Major, which is a dog, but it's a female dog. Right? It's a bitch. In the most classical sense of what the word means, once again, before the French got it and bastardized language. Before they bastardized language. Whew. So, Christian nationalism is the biggest threat to America's religious freedom. The founding fathers' purposes were no intentions to found a country according to Christian doctrines. Let's read that again. The founding fathers' purposes, right, were explicitly that they had no intention to found the country according to Christian doctrines. Having said that, it is important to add that this exclusion is no way devalue the importance of the Christian religion in their minds, nor should it in ours. Christianity is thriving in America, and so is Judaism, Islam, and other religions. Rather than listening to those who distort history and pit one faith as superior to others because it is more American, we should instead be working together on a shared spiritual vision to empower the poor. Out, this nigga's preaching, okay, right? But again, this is just me pounding in your mind and reiterating the fact that you do not live in a Christian country, okay, based on Christian principles. So you can stop being so confused, looking for things that don't exist where they should not exist at. This is a free-for-all, do-as-thou-wilt country founded by Masons and occultists, right? Esoteric organizations that understood the metaphysical significance of you being here in this country during this date and during this time, because you have a date with destiny. And everybody knows it but you. And everybody wants to be around when it happens so they can take credit for it. Yeah, I got them niggas over here in the boats and shit, or I came over there and had to hit them niggas in the heads and take them out the feathers and shit like that and put them in suits and ties, so bundle them up real good so they can be ready when Big Mama come back. You know what I'm saying? And start showering you with her gifts. They want to be standing next to niggas when you get your reparations. We talking about your cosmic reparations. So they can be like, let me hold something. And what you niggas gonna do? Start piecing them off, go shopping with them, right? Get them real thick. So yeah, you need to read this book if you have it. The Secret Architects of Our Nation's Capital. Masons in the Building of Washington, D.C. So what the fuck I'm saying would not sound crazy to you. Because this shit is plain as day. Now I wouldn't say everybody knows it, but goddamn it, and it's not gonna run from you if you look for it. It's accessible. You can find this shit out. Right? Masonry's blazing star. Today, July the 4th, is the day of the most significant symbol in Masonry, which is the blazing star. July the 4th. And it's an observation of constellations or stellar bodies. Why? Because light represents information. So this is when the downloads come through. The gates are open. It's called the gates of men. So if the gates are open today, that the souls come to this planet. That's what the Masons understand. right? That's what the esoteric occult organizations understand. This is the time, specifically today and days around it, during the dog days of summer when Sirius is aligned perfectly. This is when the souls of men come to this planet. You tell me how you should show up during a time like this, right? When the energy is what it is. Feel me? How would you show up? You gonna show up like you show up to a gender reveal? Or you gonna show up how them niggas showed up to motherfucking Jesus getting born in the manger? You gonna bring frankincense, gifts, myrrh, shit like that? What you think them 3 stars was that they was observing during the time of the birth? The nativity scene. Okay? Yes, it was raining. It was raining out here too earlier, but it's not now. You can get in the dirt. You can ground yourself. Put your feet in some grass. You know what I'm saying? Get outside in the sun. Wear some linen, if you have any, rather than the synthetic fibers, because you'll be doing your subtle energy body a disservice by shutting it down with synthetic fibers. We might do something tonight on KTL. It's gonna be called the Invocations for Independence, right? I cannot tell you what to say under the stars, but I'm gonna share with you what I have prepared to invoke. Because the definition of God means to invoke. The definition of God don't mean nothing else in the Bible. I mean, in the dictionary. And since you want to use definition of terms for everything else, let's keep it where it's supposed to be, right? This shit means libations and it means to invoke. And it say nothing about prayer. It ain't even say nothing about, getting on your knees and making salah. It didn't say none of that. It didn't say none of that. It said libation and invocation. That shit sounds African. Okay? To invoke. So we're going to do an invocation of independence, and we're going to speak to our ancestors. We're going to make note of where these certain stars are at in the cosmos, these celestial bodies that change different colors when you're looking at them. And we're going to channel that information down into our vessel, right? And then we're going to convert that information into content based on the download. Yes, invoke, being bold and loud, being demanding and commanding of the universe without being disrespectful. But you're going to talk to that shit like it's yours, like it's you. You feel me? You're not going to tuck your tail on this. This is not what this energy calls for. You're going to lead with your chest. Yeah, this is the blazing star. Right? Just look up the blazing star. I dropped the article on it. There's a lot of information. All of this stuff is documented. Right? And again, 444 times 4 is 1776. And today is the Bible scripture. 7:4 in Revelations is the revelation about 144,000. There you go right there. All right. Oh, this is number 4 is the square. You feel me? How did they manage to consecrate this country and do it on the square? As Masons, they bodied that shit. They really did. You gotta just acknowledge when something is done in a way in which you like, damn, how you just gonna think you're gonna wiggle up out of that? You're not. You're not just gonna wiggle up out of it. You could do the knowledge. Feel me? You could do the knowledge. So I want to talk about something that's controversial. As if everything else that we've been saying probably hasn't been borderline controversial. But it's an interesting observation. And the way that I track constellations and bodies of stars and shit like that are out of space, I look at the stars on the planet. I look at who represents cosmic power and influence on this plane of existence. Because if you telling random poo butt niggas that they God, you know what I'm saying? Don't be a shyster and be like, yo, just because you don't like a person, that they don't have access to God power as well. Even if that God power is inverted on some little Uzi Vert shit, right? His understanding of religion or spirituality or God power is expressed through an inversion of the cross, right? If I was in Christianity, my crosses would be inverted too, right? I'm not following the shit that they're following, that they represent. I can't stand with that shit. And they not even standing with that shit. These niggas is the biggest Luciferians on the planet. It's coming right out the Vatican, nigga. The observatory is called Lucifer. It's in Arizona, and they say, oh, we share it with another organization, so they just named it that, and we just in the same building as them. No, nigga. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. You don't let nobody fuck with your brand like that if that's not what you want. The definition, the etymological definition of Vatican means the seers, the diviners, the astrologers. That's who they are. So we look at my guy Drake, right? And y'all can look at you can look at the numbers, you can see, Drake is a 44 resonator, right? 4,044 likes. It just so happened to be like that. Drake represents the constellation Draco. We've gone through this when we speak about his back and forth with Kanye West. Kanye West represents the constellation Ursa Minor, which is the little bear. Right? Ursa Minor. You feel me? So, yeah, that the differentiation. Look, I ain't gonna try to explain nothing for this nigga. Just not gonna do it. He's different, and as a Scorpio, as a water sign, he seems to be channeling, the extreme aspects of his feminine self, of his divine feminine. But I'm not gonna judge. I'm a smudge. Hold on, let me light this up. But I'm not gonna judge. You know why? Because y'all women love that shit. Y'all gonna show he getting all spicy and ready for y'all. And y'all gonna receive him with open arms, with them high price ass tickets you probably paid for that tour. You feel me? But I want to ask you an honest question, right? Because we're talking about antiquated history. And when I'm talking about antiquated history, I'm talking about millions and millions and millions and millions of years old history. And some of us probably don't got the faculty to think back that far. But let me ask you this. Do you think that the first woman that was born on this planet... this is a segment where I'm going to need my baby. I'm going to need some of your assistance, baby. Can you come here, please? Or you want me to come in there? What we going to do? You want to get your little seat? You need a seat or something?
I gotta stay a while.
Not that long, but just for a little while. Because I need a witness. And I don't know if they're going to be honest with me. You feel me? So we know that he's coming out with an album called Strictly for My Dogs. And he's going to be doing it during the dog days of summer, which coincide with the fact that, like I said, he's channeling Big Mama energy. But y'all love the nigga for that. And you already knew this. So this is not no surprise. It ain't come out of nowhere. This nigga has been making metrosexualism the standard for over a decade. You feel me? So, yeah, Okay, shout out to Dr. York. When I learned about Drake, we did a lecture immediately on him in '09. Even went to Serpent Mound to do a ritual to make sure that the energy that he was bringing to hip hop would not totally throw it off and offset it, because we knew that he represented a new religion. He's beyond an artist. This nigga represents religion. Okay? And you'll see, I'm talking long game here. Right? So, knowing what you know about women, which of you or one yourself, maybe, do you think that the first woman on this planet lived a soft life?
What kind of question is that?
It's philosophical, but let's look at it. Let's even look at Eve, right? Did Eve have a soft life? Technically, she had a soft life.
She had a soft life. She chose otherwise.
She got finessed by the serpent.
She was in the Garden
right
of
away.
Eden. She had everything that
initially
she wanted. She had soft life.
And then she chose up.
And then she chose.
She allowed another nigga to get in her ear other than her husband. She ain't know the rules because that God ain't laid the rules down yet. Well, he did. He was like, don't go over here. Don't talk to this. Don't eat over that.
Yeah.
Right?
And as woman, as creatrix, it's like, how is there something that I can't know when I'm creating it?
See?
So how, so yeah, I'm going to want to eat from that tree, because how you going to tell me I have all of this? I'm the creatrix as well. I can't have, there's something I can't know.
Yeah, there's you telling Bay that there's something off limits to Bay. Bay gonna go on your phone.
And then even prior to that, you have Lilith, who wasn't willing to do the Eve thing.
All right, so you jumping the gun. All right, so let's talk about Lilith. So, because I want to establish this conversation around ancient primordial
Lilith is actually in Leo right now.
Lilith is in Leo?
Lilith is in Leo. So Lilith is the black moon. That's the dark.
Okay, so Lilith is in Leo. She's the black moon, right? Again, to me, the archetype of Leo this year represents the sun. It definitely represents hip hop because of the the 50-year anniversary and the birth date. When me and who's the brother named Raku, we was doing a lecture. I think it was 2017 around when 444 was coming out, and I did a lecture, and he opened it up for me, and he read hip hop's birth chart. And he said that hip-hop was going to be dominated by females. And that was the year that Cardi B broke out, 2017. So now I see, so let's say Leo is hip-hop. Lilith would be the pantheon of female artists that we see coming through hip-hop,
with
right?
This energy that everybody doesn't know what to do with, including them.
With this energy that everybody don't know what to do with, including them. So this is the separation of the puritanical aspects of what society thinks that women's supposed to show up like. Soft, 3/4 of cloth, regal to the degree that, you know what I'm saying, they're just... Hold on, let me just finish explaining this. Right, because I saw this as well. We were at an event the other night when the moon energy was coming in, and there were women twerking, and then there were women looking at women twerking like, how could that woman be twerking? And that's always seems to be the issue, especially in this community, right? That there's not an appreciation for diversity of expressions of sexuality or femininity, right? Where the women who are dealing with an aspect of modesty, they don't have no leverage where they, you know what I mean? They're not open and receptive to be like, yeah, sis is giving it up how she do it. That's her thing.
That's because, even as women, we don't understand the fullness of who and what we are. And it's always going to come out. Just like, you say being soft is feminine, being angry is feminine. I'm using that as a loose term. Being that Kali energy, that primal energy, that's feminine too. Being sexual, that's feminine as well. It's not one part of that is not what femininity is. It's all femininity. But when the women get to know who they are and the different aspects of themselves, which one is more prevalent to you, which one resonates with you, which one comes out without you having to think. Some girls just assume the position and start twerking. Some girls, they just carry that demeanor and decorum of just, like some people would say softness or femininity or whatever it is. It's all feminine, but you have to understand the power, the meaning, and all that stuff within all of it in order for you to, make your, I don't want to say assumptions, but
right.
In order to make a full observation, you have to understand. Like even these girls that's coming out the new. I got what you need for you is special. I love when you like it just knows tomorrow. I tell you I know you can feel it in there. Talk to you, but in the streets I'm hard. Sound every word. Sound every word. Sound every block, every corner. Northwest, every.
I'll get back to that. I'm listening.
Yeah, even with the newer girls coming out and
speak up a little bit.
The content of their music and the way that they're carrying themselves.
Yeah.
They don't even understand the power of what they really have, because when you listen to what they're saying, they're telling you that they don't know the power of what they really have. It's going, they're minimizing it down to money and physical things, bags, when if your pussy's so magical, why it's not, healing some of the shit that's the toxic shit going on in the world.
If your pussy's so magical.
But that's because you don't know about it.
You have the ability.
What to do and you don't know how to do it.
You have the ability to transmute with a magical pussy. You can literally turn circumstances around with the transmutation of your kitten.
Yeah, some women do it with food. Some women do it with clothes. Some women do it with love and nurturing. Some women do it with tough love. Some women do it with sex. But it's, you have to learn how to utilize and harness these specific powers to, manifest things that are helpful to yourself, your family, your community. And not just, because I get it too. We've been, and I always say as women, we've been raised a certain way. We're not taught the truth about ourselves. We're always taught to hide ourselves, no matter how natural it feels. We're always told, you got to cover it up. You got to stop. So we never get to, explore different parts of ourselves. And we always have to be a certain way for everybody else, but not for ourselves. So this is what it looks like when you have misguidedness, when you have misinformation, when you keep something bottled up for so long. This is what it looks like. It just blows the cap off. And also, too, with that, you were speaking of Leo and it being hip-hop, and I also see Leo as being the divine masculine. Now, the divine masculine I would define as or describe as those lower chakras, dealing with your confidence, your security, your self-esteem, your self-worth. Because as a man, you need to master those things in order for you to be, to express or be comfortable in your divine feminine, which is those upper chakras that deal with shit that you can't really prove, like it's unseen, and in order for you to be able to express that without, worrying about people thinking you crazy or whatever, your divine masculine got to be intact. So it's perfect that that dark goddess energy is in Leo right now, dealing with the divine masculine and that high divine feminine. So again, it's time for us to come together and figure, and really get that together so we could partner up and do what we need to do for each other and ourselves as individuals. Yeah,
so that has personified itself into Drake, right? Drake is coming for Drake is here for the conversation, and I guess he's building a bridge, to show you the fluency of divine femininity / masculinity or something. Because he has the line to the minds of melanin by way of the women who, again, have the stronger access to
So we were having a slight conversation.
The cosmic narrative, right? Women have stronger magnetism because of your monthly, the fact that you renew the blood, right? And magnetism is connected to iron. Iron is connected to blood. So the richer blood that you have, the stronger your magnetic field. The stronger your magnetic field, you make contact with the solar winds first. So you have access to information first. Hence the fact that femininity deals with intuition. Because you don't got to read a book. You don't have to deal with what they call deism, which is logic and reason. By reading something and being practical, you just get a download, which is a feeling. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, with Drake, I always saw him as, we were talking about the other day or yesterday about like how sometimes dudes will kind of like girls so much they want to be like them, like they want to be them.
Yes.
To me, he always embodied that, and I won't necessarily put him in like an LGBTQ trans type of situation, but like when you are so fixated or I don't know about obsessed or you just like something so much that you try to emulate it, like some niggas that know too much about women, like they know too much about wigs, they know wig color, they know right. I only want my girl with the white toes, like
right.
Niggas, that's not your business.
Niggas know the threading and shit, like,
right. And
come
so
on,
like
son.
Well, a lot of things where men would have usually kind of, what's the word, like they might have downplayed certain things that women did, Drake came and upheld it. So stripper culture, dressing like a thot, IG models, that whole thing that men probably would have down in the club, they with it, but outside, you think she thinks she bad, she thinks she this, she thinks she that. Drake came out and upheld it. Like, I see you doing that, girl, keep doing your thing. I see your little dress that you got from XYZ. Okay, I see you. Like, right. He was one of us.
So right,
like he the type of nigga that hang out with the girls.
Right.
Like a Charlemagne. He hang out with all the damn females. You feel me?
Right.
To the point
so he can
where
edify
it's like,
your culture, your practices, why y'all do what you do.
Now, on a subconscious, metaphysical, occult level, it could be that just, appreciation for the big mama, because he represents, the Draco, which is also representative of the great mother. He's a mama's boy.
Yeah,
Only love my bed and my mama, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and he's always been like.
And he's a Scorpio. He's watery. That's a feminine aspect. Scorpio is it's a feminine side, dealing with the deep, the deep waters. Mm-hmm. But as I was explaining about the submersive volcano, the shit dealing with Neptune, the narrative last week was the submarine. And it coincided at the same time that Pharrell was making his ascension in the world of fashion, invoking the energy of Neptune, which represents the bottom of the ocean or the deep oceans or Olokun, right? Where the resources and the riches are at the bottom of the ocean. Hence the fact that, niggas, billionaires dead down there. You feel me? Anytime that you invoke that, though, you're speaking about Pluto, right? Because that's also the deeps and the depths and the transmutation, and there's all of this cosmic alignment taking place right now. I don't think Pluto's not in Aquarius right now, right? Where did it go back to?
Capricorn. It's in retrograde.
It's in retrograde, but we kept saying, look out for Pluto, look out for Pluto. I thought Future was gonna pop up, but we got Drake. You know what I'm saying? As the Plutonian Scorpionic energy that, these niggas got to play their part. Anybody, what sign is Lil Uzi Vert? While we at it. Anybody know what sign Lil Uzi is?
I just want to rock.
Leo.
Oh, he's a Leo. Oh, wow. Makes sense. He looked like a cat.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? It's all right there. You feel me?
And look at all these divine masculines and how they present rap.
So yeah, he's expressing Lilith through his divine, through his Leo aspect.
Shoot, not even his lady is Lilith. You ain't see how she do it. His girl is Lilith.
His lady is Lilith. Yeah, his lady is Lilith. So what I wanted to really ask again, the archaic aspect of femininity to the people that are listening, do you think that this shit is solved, or did she start as Lilith? So did women start more so ratchet before they moved to righteousness, or you think they started out righteous and went ratchet? Which one you think it is? Because when we speak about Big Mama, once again, and we speak about Sirius, and that being the dog star, right? And the dog star being a bitch. And just the fact that I'm saying bitch, I'm turning people off because of your programming. So I said, yo, Big Mama's the biggest bitch. Right? Big Mama's the biggest bitch. So you think that the biggest bitch looks for expressions in places on this planet where women are bottled up? Or you think that she showed up at the Essence Fest and jumped into Megan Thee Stallion's body when she was tearing shit up on stage? Huh?
And both were, in my belief, my perspective, both were done with purpose and intention. I seen
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're still looking at marvels and melanin. And what do I mean? When I look at athletes perform daily on court, when I look at entertainers on stage, because I looked at a lot of the different acts at the Essence Fest, that's still melanin in motion. These people are still doing superhuman feats for the ones that really show up. You know what I'm saying? Performing on stage for an hour and a half, dancing, singing, and rapping, and moving and shit like that. Like, we discredit and we discount a lot of people's talent because it might not be your toast. You know, might not be your cup of tea. But you just can't throw a whole person's talent out. You can't just throw a whole person's efforts out. You can't throw a whole person's demonstration. You know what I'm saying? How they showing up. And yeah, these people be working and shit, man. Like, I even seen a Beyonce concert the other day. Now, we could talk about the esoteric elements and things of that nature, but I still see people that I'm like, I see people that are working. I see people that are showing up. You know what I'm saying? To the heights of their work. That is just extraordinary. Ain't nothing punk about no tour. You feel me? So, just the fact that you see people showing up and executing at that altitude the way that they are, that's applaud worthy. That's right.
So tell me, is that ratchet or is that soft?
They got 3/4 on, and they giving it up.
Everything is covered.
Everything, right? That's cosmic. It's what you call orgone energy, and it's actually the energy that makes the world go around. You know what I'm saying? I was taught at a young age that the swing of women's hips is what keeps the planets in orbit. And I wholeheartedly believe that, and I know it to be true. You feel me? Because when women started becoming more stiff and shit and less feminine, and I know that that's a drag, you're like, what are you talking about? You know, there was a sway to the hips. You know what I'm saying? There was uniformity in the jungle of the cheeks and shit like that.
So, when does it become ratchet?
Hold on, when those things started slowing up, then we started getting global warming and shit like that. That's when nature started getting thrown off, when women started becoming AGs and started dressing like Lil Wayne.
Okay, but I'm talking about in reference to now, because that's the dichotomy. It's the complaint between how they acted now versus, you know, like you saying, before when they was keeping the earth going around, keeping everything balanced.
It's keeping planets in orbit. This is
when
called
does
Orgone
it stop
energy.
Being feminine for you? And I'm asking too as a man, because I think for women it's important to hear that.
It's different strokes for different folks. So my personal preference. When does it stop being feminine?
When does it get? Yeah.
When it crosses over into identifiable dude shit, where you like, well, I gotta ask, is that a woman? Then that's no longer
twerking.
No, what we talking about? We talking about physical appearance or twerking?
The video.
I'm with all this shit. You can twerk with 3/4. I think that there's spiritual import to twerking. I'm not anti-twerking.
I get that. I'm just saying.
So what did you say?
Where are you drawing the line between this is ancestral, conscious, spiritual? To me, it's all conscious and spiritual. Because you keep asking.
I'm asking
about is it soul? What's soul for ratchet? So that's why I'm trying to ask.
But to me, in my world, ratchet is not devoid of spirituality.
I agree.
So what are you, again?
I'm asking because you are separating it. So you're making a differentiation between ratchetness and softness. Is one more spiritual than the other? Where's the line get crossed at? See, for me, I think it comes with the message, right? It's not the movement. Like sometimes if I do certain shit, you might label me as you go doing your ratchet Franklin Avenue shit. But if a woman have on a hair wrap and some waist beads, I see the sensuality and the beautiful. I never realized how feminine it is.
Hey, say it again. Say it again. Say it again. She lit me up. Hey,
if I get in my bag and be like, oh shit, you back on your Franklin Avenue twerking shit, your ratchet shit, okay. But then we go out, sis got her boho braids and her hair wrap with the flowy skirt, twerk, or maybe not. She might just be ass out twerking. Just whole ass. You be like, oh my God, I never realized the sensuality and the divinity of the way that the woman moves. I'll be like, oh, word. So where's the line? Where is it divine and then where does it get ratchet? Let me know. And I'm just saying. I
mean, even with both, if I say something to you, it's always in jest. We playing.
I know. I'm just making my case.
You are making your case, but I'm saying, when am I never not joking? Like, even when I'm saying the shit about the sisters with the, it's still in the lightheartedly,
right?
Like,
where is the line drawn between ratchetness and spirituality? Where do you say like, all right, this is divine. This, bitch, you need to go take that down somewhere else. If you don't, that's fine. It doesn't have to
for
be
me,
personal.
it's hard because I'm going through personal transformations by way of observation that shows me that every time I judge, I'm dead wrong. So this is just a reminder for me that I have a threshold where I'm like, I can't throw nothing away because I see God in everything. I'm the one that says the devil is God with a ski mask on. So, but I still do understand that I am warring against principalities. So if I'm pushing up against something to push something back, there has to be something that I'm pushing. So the lack of respect for self, that's where the shit becomes detestable for me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right,
the lack of respect for self is where I kind of draw the line.
Okay, perfect.
When you are encroaching upon disrespecting yourself, the ancestors, our total brand as a people per se, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm throwing ice water on you, like bitch. Yeah, like twerking on. How you gonna go twerk on Bill Gates, bitch? Yeah.
Who's twerking on Bill Gates?
I'm just saying. Let's say somebody fucked around and started. Nigga Bill Gates came through here and they start twerking for Bill Gates. I'm throwing ice water on you. But I'm still crossing the line. I still deserve to have my ass beat as a result. You feel me? Because I'm still violating, I'm still encroaching upon somebody's personal decisions in their space. If that's what you choose to do, then so be it.
Yeah.
You feel me? Do I have to participate? Not necessarily. Should I have to say something? Maybe you should just keep your mouth shut and go about your business if you don't agree with it.
That mentality is what got us to where we at right now. Because that's what's been happening this whole time. Oh, I can't really tell them nothing. We all had our time, which is true. We all had our time. But at certain points, when you start to gain wisdom and you start to gain knowledge, then you gotta pass it on. We gotta hold each other accountable. That's what helped with the previous generations. And yeah, you still gonna have to have your rebels to push against the system, but it's a system. It's a thing of give and take. I have to give it to you. You're gonna take away. You're gonna learn your own lessons, but it's my responsibility as someone who's already made it over the hill to now turn back around and let you know, when you coming down, be careful. There's a real steep part right there. Whether you choose to listen to me or not, that's your business. But it's my responsibility. I don't know you personally, but I love you, because when I see you, I see me. We reflections. So I'm going to turn around and be like, girl, you're going to do what you want to do, but I'm going to let you know right now, there's a dip in the hill. When you coming down on the side, please be careful.
Right.
Okay? Now, what you choose to do with that is up to you. But at the end of the day, I think we still have an obligation to one another to say, hey, you may not know this right now, but as somebody that already, I'm on the other side, let me just sit down with you for a second, because that whole mentality has been going on for so long that hip-hop, 50 years later, has no number one.
Has no what?
Number one. It's not on the charts.
No number one. Right.
Because everybody's like, well, you can't tell them nothing. They making money. They made more money than me, so who am I? I don't want to judge. And I understand that, because I don't like judging people. But at the same time, if I see a baby with a gun just spraying everywhere, I'm going to run to the baby and try to grab it.
Is that judgment, or is that your interceding?
It's discernment, it's observation, it's somewhat of a judgment, yes. But at the end of the day, what are we going to do? Are we going to keep growing into individualism where we just don't give a fuck about each other and it's only me? Or, because everybody else, every other culture, every other race, they don't know each other, but when they get in a foreign place, they look out for each other.
This is a fact.
We don't do that shit. And it's on a broad scale. It's international. Everybody's watching it. And we not even going to pull each other to the side and be like, all right, I'm not trying to tell you that you don't got no talent or you ain't shit or whatever your journey or path may be. But, sis, let me show you let me tell you what this shit is really about. Because I see you already got the influence. You already got the energy. You already got the talent. So here, let me show you what your pussy is really about. Let me show you as a woman, what you really could do. Let me show you, that feeling that you feel right now when you want to do X, Y, and Z. This is what you should sit down and do when you start to feel that. And then watch how you infect other people, because at this point, you're influential. Anything you do, everybody else is going to do it.
Everybody else going to do, right. You got that magnetism.
And as a woman, that's what we are.
So what you think, all right, so why do you think a woman with that glowing, active root chakra, the more ruby red the root chakra, the more magnetic they seem to be, you know what I'm saying, in regards to how, people gravitate towards them. But then you all the way up here, your crown chakra might be glowing, your ajna might be popping, and then, you don't have the same magnetism. People don't want to hear Lauren 2.0, or so it seems.
It has to do with our animal instincts. It has to do with our primal, just human instincts. But at the same time, that's our creation ritual. Sex is how we bring things here. That's how we create shit.
Right.
So of course you're gonna be attracted to anything that has to do with creating. You may not think of that.
Say it again. I need you to say it louder. You got such a soft voice.
What?
What'd you just say?
What I said?
Creation is your creatrix.
Yeah, sex is a act of creation. It's that's our purpose here. So yeah, when something sexual is induced, it's you feel me? It's part of our animal nature.
And let me make this clear that the sacral chakra is really the definition of where the sex energy takes place, but the root chakra is tethered to that. Because the root represents foundation, it represents home, it represents your identity of God, it represents your identity, it represents your relationship with God, it represents food, it represents, not only home, but a stable home. And one is led to believe that if those things are interchangeable or played with, then it leads to the abuse in the sacral, where sex becomes something that might be forced upon someone or not appreciated, or bastardized to where religion, because this whole aspect of God in the root chakra, if you grow up in a very anglicized Christian home, then they might suppress sacral chakra activity You know what I'm saying? Which fucks with your what? Your expression, your will, and your solar plexus, your third chakra, where you like, but how do I express myself? And then that's gonna fuck with your heart.
I ain't even express, but how do I feel about myself?
How do you feel about yourself? Because you can't even, right?
move.
You can't transmute the energy
if you don't feel good about
So
yourself.
I read an article the other day, and they was dragging. It was a nun, right? They call her the sexting nun. She caught vibes for a priest, and she was just texting a nigga, right? And they was talking explicit in text. They stripped her of all of her authority. They banished her, right? And she was like the shit wherever she was at in her monastery. She was the head of the monastery. They stripped her. They kicked her out the monastery, and they might even be looking to close the monastery. Like, she violated to them to that degree.
Right.
But then you have them moving around male priests who are known sexual abusers who physically had sex with children.
Right.
Right? But the suppression of this nun's femininity by way of her expressing that she has a sexual attraction to a man,
right?
They want to destroy her.
Absolutely. But it's a patriarchal system over there that they want to erase any power of the woman at all, because that side, the history of those people, again, like we talking about Drake. You ever been fascinated by somebody so much you just wanted to be like them? Like certain, kids, when especially sons, that's why fathers don't want them around their moms too much, because when they hit a certain age, they start acting just like their mother. They talk like her. They use her mannerisms, all type of stuff. And it's not to say something's wrong, whatever. Right. But
it's just
I'm just likening that
adaptability, right?
That team over there. That when you go back into their history, they've always been jealous of their women. They always saw their women as more powerful, and they felt like they had to take the power away from her. So that's they fight they going through over there. You feel me? So yeah, anything that you do that represents, they took Lilith out the damn Bible. Anything you do that is close to representing whatever your power is, I want to take that off the board. So yeah, that over there, that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, but we kind of embarking on 2 hours. I don't know where the time went. It went wild quick. It was a wonderful way to start a conversation. I'm still in class, attempting to learn more about the divine feminine so I can learn more about myself and bring, my character into alignment. Because, again, we all out here operating off of faulty information. Somebody lied to us, and we've been running with lies. You know what I'm saying? Not just in the month of July, you know what I mean? But we all been running with lies. You could teach a old dog new tricks in the dog days of summer. You know what I'm saying? The dog can have 9 lives, too. You know what I'm saying? You can shed your old fur and learn you some new tricks. You know what I'm saying? It's never too late. Neuroplasticity is available to you. So I think the more that we dialogue and have these conversations, the more we can learn, because it's not even things that I can say, I didn't know. It just might not be at the forefront of my frontal lobe because I'm operating off of a program. Right? I'm operating off of a program, and I'm wrestling with this shit every day to create a new version of myself that only listens to my logic and reasoning on some dear shit. But now that I know that I have been endowed that right that has been given to me in this country, you feel me? Then I'm going to approach it even more to be like, yeah, I want to get better because I want to be able to teach other young men these subtle points about the delicateness of femininity. You know what I'm saying? The importance of a woman in her softness. You feel me? But being mindful to express to these young men that she has, it's 3 of her. Nigga, you are in a polygamous relationship with your woman, even if y'all are in a monogamous one, because she has 3 people inside of her. What are them 3 peoples?
You got the maiden, the mother, and the crone.
The maiden, the mother, and the crone. Okay? And yeah, you dating all 3 of them. And any one of them could come to the forefront and shit. So, one minute she's making you pancakes, the next minute she's like, nigga, get my shoes. And you just don't know where it happened. You like, that didn't sound soft.
It's chaos.
It's chaos, yeah. So keep that shit in the back of your mind at all times. Don't get totally sucked into, you know what I'm saying, the soft terrain for so long that you forget that she's fucking chaos and you have a responsibility to be order, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? And the only way that you can do that is by having better information. You know what I mean? So you can pull your shit together. So automatically, you know what I mean, you can put planets in orbit around you. But only through honest dialogue can we get to these places. You feel me? Yeah, you gotta check your ego at the door. Yeah. Right? What if you have everything to lose? Would you still show up? So, yeah, I think, like I said, with Red, I want to do something tonight, and it's called the Invocations for Independence, and it will be a set of instructions maybe that we can collectively do, getting underneath these stars after the motherfucking smoke dissipates from the fireworks and the firecrackers. You know what I mean? Invocations for independence. How we show up and template the universe with what our ideas are for independence, because the way that we're looking to be independent as a people is different from how anybody else got it on the planet. So we need as much instructions as you can give, the better. The better your prompts are for independence about how God's supposed to show up for you. God don't play with me. I can't tell, nigga. I can't tell. Right? You compensating for the fact that God don't play with you by playing with yourself all this goddamn time. Right? So, yeah, let's stop playing with these terms. I want to truly be free. I want to truly be independent of a devil system. I shall not have to depend on the devil for a goddamn thing. You feel me? And we have the access to the cosmic energy and the force that can make that happen for us in real time. You know what I mean? Let's activate it. Let's use it. What was this spray? This is an aura spray. Orgasmic. It's called Orgasmic Aura Spray. You feel me? Just to clean the aura up. Yeah. So, let's get them. Today, we're going to bring some of the tools out. You feel me? And, yeah, we're gonna raise the roof. We're going to tap into the cosmic juices of the universe and really manifest some intentional, some intentional independence. All right? So we'll put a, post up, let you know when we're going to go live on YouTube on Know the Ledge. All right? I do appreciate y'all. Thank you for rocking out. I know, it's the 4th. You could be doing anything else. You know what I mean? But, yeah, look further into deists. Your founding fathers of this country are part of a religion that you never heard of, part of a organization that you never heard of, part of a demonstration that you never heard of. And that demonstration is not too far from your Aboriginal indigenous traditions. You feel me? So look it up, y'all. Peace.